Am I the asshole for not wanting to spend time with one of my sons? I'm a 48-year-old father of twin boys who are now 17. Since the day they were born, I've had a hard time with one of them. Jeff, the younger by about 12 minutes, has always been complicated, difficult, and, if I'm being completely honest, exhausting to be around. His twin brother Paul, on the other hand, has always been calm, independent, and easygoing. I don't want to say I've always liked Paul more, but from a young age the differences between them were clear, and it's only gotten worse as they've gotten older. Jeff was a needy, whiny baby who constantly demanded attention. He always needed more time, more patience, more everything. Paul was the opposite, quiet, content, and just easy. I remember thinking how lucky I was to have at least one kid who didn't drain me. As they grew up, the differences between the boys became impossible to ignore. Paul is honest, hardworking, and responsible. Jeff, he's a handful. He can look you straight in the eye and lie without a shred of guilt. I've caught him countless times doing things just to get Paul in trouble, always manipulating the situation so he comes out on top. He's constantly in motion, usually up to no good, and I can never trust what he says or does. He lies, cheats at games, takes things that don't belong to him, and absolutely refuses to accept responsibility for anything. We've tried therapy for years, both individually and together as a family, but it hasn't made a difference. My wife used to say he'd grow out of it, but at 17, I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, I'm convinced that Jeff is a narcissist. He's manipulative, selfish, and lacks any real empathy for others. Paul, on the other hand, has always been a great kid. He does well in school, stays out of trouble, and is the kind of son any parent would be proud of. He's respectful, kind, and he doesn't ask for much. It's hard not to gravitate toward him when Jeff makes every interaction so difficult. A few months ago, my wife and I separated. While there were a lot of factors involved, one of the biggest issues was her constant need to baby Jeff. She would make excuses for him, defend his behavior, and basically enable everything that drove me crazy about him. It created a huge rift between us because I felt like I was always the bad guy for trying to hold Jeff accountable. Now that we're separated, I've come to a realization. I don't want to spend time with Jeff. Every interaction with him feels like a battle, and I'm just tired of it. I know he's my son, but the thought of having to deal with his lies, his antics, and his refusal to grow up is exhausting. When I have the boys for weekends, I find myself relieved when Jeff makes plans with his friends or doesn't come over. I enjoy the time I spend with Paul. There's no drama, no stress, just a normal father-son relationship. But here's the thing, I know this isn't how it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to love both of my kids equally, right? And I do love Jeff. I really do. But I don't him. He's toxic, and I don't know how to fix that. I don't even know if it can be fixed. So, I'm left wondering, am I the asshole for not wanting to spend time with my son? I've tried everything I can think of. Therapy, tough love, patience. But nothing seems to change. I know Jeff feels the distance between us, and I can't say it's all his fault. I've pulled back. It's hard to engage with someone who constantly pushes you away or causes chaos wherever they go. I feel guilty for thinking it, but sometimes I wonder if things would be easier if I only had Paul. I know that sounds terrible, but it's the truth. Here are 3 reasons why I think I might be the asshole. 1, he's still my son. No matter what, Jeff is my child, and I feel like I'm failing him by not wanting to spend time with him. I know I should be there for him, but it's hard when every interaction feels like an ordeal. Still, does that make me a bad father for not wanting to engage with him? 2, it could be a cry for help. As much as I'm frustrated by Jeff's behavior, I wonder if his actions are just a way of getting attention. Maybe he feels like he's in Paul's shadow or like he's not good enough, and that's why he acts out. Shouldn't I be doing more to help him instead of pulling away? 3, I don't want to make things worse. By avoiding Jeff and favoring Paul, I'm probably deepening the divide between us. I don't want Jeff to grow up feeling like I gave up on him, but at the same time, I don't know how to break this cycle of negativity between us. So, am I the asshole for not wanting to spend time with Jeff? I love both of my sons, but I just don't know how to handle one of them anymore. I want to be a good father, but I'm struggling to find a way to connect with a kid who makes it so hard to be around him.